Hello, hello, hello. Hi. What's up, what's up, what's up? What's up, what's up, what's up? Hello, sir.
His name's Eugene Baffo, but in hip-hop circles, he's better known as Genie.
Nice to meet you, man. What's up, how you doing?
The class is held in a dance studio, which is underneath a bowling alley in the St. Boniface neighborhood. Now, while Genie is up at the front of the class with all his energy bouncing up and down, I slowly take my place at the back around all the other newbies. What's your name?
Amanda.
Did I hear this is your first class here?
It is, yes.
What made you decide to come out?
Well, I don't know. I've been dancing since I was really small, and I've been going to Zumba and Body Jam classes, and I was looking for something new, and a friend of mine sent me a link and was like, look at this. So, yeah, I thought I'd give it a try.
What are you hoping to get out of the class?
Maybe just to learn something new, I guess, just to, help rewire my brain in a different way, I guess, when it comes to dance, and just a new challenge, and yeah.
Are you nervous before coming to a class like this?
Today, yes, because it's my first time, and, I'm sure there's groups of people here who've been coming regularly who know each other, so, yeah.
Can I tell you it's my first time as well, too?
Okay, are you going to join the class as well?
I will be doing the class today, too.
That's fun.
Well, enjoy the class.
Thanks, you too.
The thing is, Amanda and I, we don't actually have time to be nervous.
If you're excited to be back here, make some noise for me real quick, man. Let's go. Yeah, cool, sweet. So for today, we're gonna be going over some new steps. Today is Running Man Day. We'll be going over that, teach you guys the in and outs of that move, and we'll have a good time with that. You know what I'm saying? Cool. All right, is everybody ready to warm up? Clap it up for me, people, let's go. All right.
Genie's been dancing for 12 years now, and he got his start after watching his sister perform at a dance recital. It was there where he saw his sister having more fun and smiling more than he'd ever seen in his entire life. After that, he got her to teach him the moonwalk, and then he was just hooked.
When I first started dancing, it was just about freestyling, it was just about dancing for fun, but then I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to know where it came from and why we're doing these steps that we're doing, So discovering Kool Herc, discovering guys like African Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash and Buddha Stretch and all these guys who contribute to the culture, I've just been hooked on trying to be a scholar of this style. Hip-hop is about to go on 50 years old as a culture, right? And that the biggest thing that I teach is that it's more than just dance, it's more than just the music, it's more than just the clothes. Hip-hop is a culture that involves all of the four elements. So I love to teach the four elements, which is DJing, graffiti, MCing, and b-boying, which is the dance. So they come in, they learn a few moves, but to know where this move came from, who started it, why it's here, why we're still doing it, what's going to come next, and why moves are being done now, all that stuff we integrate into the class so that they're getting more than just dance, so that when they end up at their next social, they can show off with their moves. But if somebody goes, where'd you learn that? You can go, well, back in 1973, yada, 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 right? So it's just about increasing that knowledge and getting people aware that it's so much more than just a couple steps here and there.
Quiz time. For those of you that have been with us from the beginning, can somebody list me one of the four elements that make up hip-hop culture? Oh! Yo, put up your hand. This is a classroom. I came here today to make that one joke. Who's got one? Yes! Graffiti! Let her know. Give it up for her one time.
So the thing about hip-hop culture that's interesting is that it's also very cutthroat, in which that the members of the hip-hop culture that we call the OGs, the original gangsters who've been doing it for years before you, they will call you out fairly quickly if you don't know what you're talking about, right? So I remember I was teaching a class in my first couple of years, because I was kind of just like thrusted into it when it came to teaching at first. And one of the OGs was there, and he came up to me after, and he just simply asked me a question. He's like, do you know who Kool Herc is? And I said no at the time. And he's like, you need to go do your research. And I was like, wow, I never want this to happen again, right? So, so they will make sure that whoever is considering themselves a teacher of the culture is also someone who's knowledgeable about it, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't show up not knowing your stuff. You can't show up not knowing your history, because it's also disrespectful to the culture and those that came before you. So in order to, I learn about this culture and want to make sure I'm knowledgeable about it, also to pay my respects to it as well, and make sure that everybody learning from me is truly learning from what it is and what, right? Appropriation happens when you're doing it and not knowing the history, right? Appropriation happens when you're doing it and not taking the time to be a part of that culture past what you think it is, right? Mm-hmm. So in the hip hop culture, we say don't get smoked one day, right?
Yeah.
When they go to their first event, like, they don't get destroyed on the floor because they don't know what they're talking about down there, right? So that's probably the fine line that we're playing with, is anybody can do it, just take the time to respect it by doing your research.
All right. So today's little history knick-knack is about the DJ, okay? The DJ from Jamaica that we consider to be the godfather of hip hop is, when I say this name, you don't forget it, so you're gonna repeat it right away, is DJ Kool Herc. Now, the reason we consider him to be the godfather of hip hop is because he was the first person to come through with the biggest sound system in the Bronx, New York at the time, and play the music of James Brown, right? Now, the reason he ended up playing is because his sister, Cindy, decided, hey, can you play music at my party? So he comes through, plays a track, boom, and what he did was he just played the breaks of the James Brown song. Just the breaks, right? Doom, doom, gaka, doom, doom. And he just looped that over and over and over and over again for like 5 hours. And everybody's like, yes, play it again. He's like, and you just play the thing over and over again, right? And his parties were just the biggest things in the Bronx from 73 to 76, right? So for that reason, we consider DJ Kool Herc to be cool. The story extends, but that's your little history lesson for today.
It's at this point in the class where I start to look around and realize Jeannie's the only black person in the room. It's all white people, young and old. But here's the thing. Every single one of them is smiling and hanging on his every word.
The culture was created by black people, but it wasn't for them, right? It's not necessarily only for them, I should say, right? So for us that are kind of born into this culture and kind of learned it as we grew up, we are just the torchbearers of this, right? And the point of the culture is to share it, right? So my favorite thing to watch when I'm going over these little history tips is their eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Like, people don't realize that there's so much more to this culture than just the dance or the music, right? They don't know that this thing has a 50-year history and a rich history at that, and one that's actually really interesting and hilarious, right? So there's a little fun story about Grandmaster Flash, who actually invented the crossfade between when you have a DJ turntable and the little crossfade that goes back and forth between turntables. Grandmaster Flash was an electrician, and he actually invented that. And he was the first person to be able to go from one song and smoothly crossfade to the next, which completely revolutionized DJing, because Kool Herc wasn't even doing that. African Bambaataa wasn't even doing that. I remember telling that story once and letting them know that to this day, Sony and Panasonic and all these companies have not given him royalties and have not given him any credit, though he invented the crossfade, right?
Really?
And people were just like, are you serious? We have to sign a petition. So like, there are people that, my favorite reactions are people who like get really amped up and want to like take to the streets about some injustices in hip hop culture. And I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
Let's do it one step at a time,
Yeah.
right? Let's learn more about
Take
it.
that anger and put it into your dance.
Exactly, yeah. Take the anger, put it in your dance. That's a great quote right there. So that's one of my favorite stories, the woman who wanted to go and sign a petition for Grandmaster Flash to get him to get royalties from Panasonic. Yeah.
So the Running Man, let's get it popping. Let's face that wall right there. All right, here we go. So your arm is just going to go out in fist. Let's say right here, you're just gonna pull it in into the waist, karate chop style. You know what I'm saying? Let's give me that. That comes out on end counts. When I say 6, 7, 8, and 1. Yeah? So not 1 and 1. Yeah? 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. 6.
When you
7,
see Jeannie
8,
at the front of the
and
class
6,
and he's
7,
interacting with
8,
everyone, he's joking, he's laughing, he's dancing up a storm, you really can't picture him doing anything else at all. It's like he was made to do this, even though his family, they may have had other plans.
My father immigrated from Ghana, West Africa in the early 70s to Montreal. And growing up, he would always tell me, get your education because it's super important in this country that a black man has his education. Otherwise, what are you going to do, right? And that's kind of been a back and forth with me and him, of course, right? He's actually a professor at the University of Manitoba with a doctorate degree, teaches social work. And I'm out here teaching hip hop dance, right? As someone who immigrated to this country and who has a certain vision for what their children should be doing, I can definitely tell you guys that this was not one of them, right? But I think through growing up, what he was looking for is if I was going to stick with it, if I was going to do it right? So at this point, I think I've gotten him onto my side when he sees me on TV doing things and he sees me doing interviews here and there and he sees me in film and TV and all this other stuff. I think he kind of goes, all right, I think you're doing this the right way, right? And yeah, I don't think he'll admit it, but I definitely do think he's proud of what I'm up to and he knows that I've been doing it the right way. And so yeah, it's definitely been a struggle here and there with, a couple of years of like, so when are you going back to school? When are you going back to school? And I'm just like, when hip hop school opens, I'll go there, right? But as of right now, I think I found my purpose in life and I'm going to stick to it for as long as my body allows me to do it.
Show me that hoppy thing to that side and show me the character of, yo, check my flow. It is better than yo's. Bars. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, and yeah!
How did you feel?
Good? I felt great. Yeah? Not completely confident, but that's okay. I don't think it matters.
What did you think about learning some history about hip hop and music?
That was very cool. I liked that component to it for sure. Yeah, it was good.
How did I do?
You were awesome. There were legs everywhere. You were having a great time. You could tell.
I feel like you and I could battle dance people now.
We totally could.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Everybody together, let's go, let's go!
You know, through every day, through continuing to do my education and in hip hop culture, I continuously learn about myself and where I fit in this world. And you know, when I see the looks on the faces of my students in those Thursday class and all the other classes I teach during the week, I can say to myself, you know, like, I found my niche. I found where I'm supposed to be and why I'm even here on this planet.
Yeah, give it up for yourselves, people. Give it up. Ha! That's so good. Shout out to all the brand new running man and running woman masters in the building. Cool, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, excellent work today. Nice. Take care. See y'all next week. Great job, people. Thank you. Tight, tight, tight. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Oh, yeah.